What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm so glad that you're here to watch more of my content. And with that being said, make sure that you like and subscribe for more. So, this video is pretty loaded. It's about Milo. I don't know if you guys have seen this video going viral, but it's a detransitioner. It is a biological female who basically went through the whole transformation, testosterone, all the shots, got the double mastectomy, and basically wanted to live life as a man. And I came across this video randomly. It was like 3 a.m. and I was just like, this is really interesting, because Milo brought up a lot of things that even me, when I was younger and I did not like being in my body, I did not like being a female, it kind of confirmed a lot of what I would think about, and also what I saw, like when I had friends who were, I wouldn't say transgender, because at the time in the early 90s people weren't saying transgender or anything like that, but that were very much hardcore tomboys that you really couldn't tell were girls at all. So I want to dive in really fast and let's just get started so we could kind of take apart what Milo's talking about. And I just want to start by saying, like, I really do not have any judgment towards Milo and their journey. I'm just making some, just some quick analysis. I am giving it some thought and just adding my commentary. I'm not trying to shame them, or I'm not trying to criticize them, or I'm not in a position to do that. I am just observing and giving my thoughts. Okay? So let's just get started.
Me, I'm assuming may not, because I'm a lot fatter and uglier than I used to be, but I was in a MTV documentary about trans youth back in 2016 called Transformation. I can't watch that now because I just can't. I can't bear to watch that. But that was me. When you see the kid named Milo, that's me. That was me before any medical stuff happened to me. So yeah, quick introduction. If you want to see what I looked like before just
It makes me really sad to hear Milo say, I'm much bigger and unattractive than, and it's because I get what it's like working so hard to feel your best or feeling comfortable in your body, to then all of a sudden not have that confidence again. It's like it's a never ending cycle of not feeling good enough, not feeling attractive enough, not feeling enough. And the fact that Milo can't see themselves in old footage, I can imagine even older pictures of themselves, is really heartbreaking. Everybody likes to kind of go down memory lane. Not everybody in the world, but most people like to go down memory lane and see pictures of themselves when they were a kid, or videos of themselves when they were a kid. And to not want that is really sad. It's quite depressing. It's almost like you had to kill that, it's almost like you had to K, that person that you were. When I believe it's still a part of you, but you had to K it in order to be able to move on. All right, let's move on.
In fact, I feel like everything kind of happened really fast. Um, it seemed very easy to get these surgeries. Um, it was all covered by insurance and stuff, you know, we didn't have to really pay out of pocket for any of it. So, kind of just happened. And for a while afterwards, I thought that I thought it was the right thing. I thought I was, you know, happy, and I thought I was confident, and, you know, I was. I can't say I thought I was. I was confident, and I was happy, and I was able to kind of live without thinking about my body. But I kind of started realizing in the past few weeks that it's not really normal to not care about your body or to not think about your body. I feel like I've kind of suppressed a lot of trauma, dealing with trauma from when I was a teenager going through puberty, and I was bullied at school by other girls for being kind of weird and stuff, and also just feeling like I was going to be an object for men if I kept my body the way it was, which I know now isn't true. And this whole time I've kind of thought less of women, as much as I hate to say it, but I think it's just the truth. I've always kind of thought of women as less than, which isn't true, because this whole time I've been a woman, and all of these thoughts that I had as a teenager were thoughts coming from a girl's mind. I think I was misguided. I think I was rushed into treatment before I explored all possible avenues of my feelings. I also think I was just afraid to admit that I was afraid to admit that I was uncomfortable with sexuality. And that's hard. I realize I have all of these feelings still to this day, that I never worked through or addressed as a young adult. Sorry, not a young adult, as a teenager. They're still there, and transitioning to a man didn't get rid of them like I thought it would. So now I'm stuck. I'm stuck looking like a man and sounding like a man. I think I completely regret everything I've done. I have been miserable these past 2 weeks. Maybe it's also side effects from coming off of testosterone, is now I'm having these mood swings that are really bad. And I just feel like it's all over, and I know in my heart it's not all over. But I just am exhausted. I keep thinking about how if I ever want to be perceived by society as a woman, I now have to do vocal training, and I need laser to get rid of my facial hair, but I'm just so tired. In my heart,
So, you guys heard that, and I watched the whole video, and I'm going to link the whole video on the description. And in the video, she, Milo, he, she, Milo, I'm just gonna call them Milo. Milo described when taking testosterone that they were experiencing a lot of cramping in their uterus, and how because it was so painful they had to remove their uterus, and it was, I guess, dying, necrosis, and so that had to be removed, and she kept two of her ovaries, and then one of them was twisted. And some people don't know, like, when you remove your uterus, it is sort of like a pouch that holds up all your other organs, and when it's removed, sometimes your organs can scatter and just like move in a way that isn't normal. So that could be what is happening there. Also, she removed one of her ovaries because it was twisted. And so because of that, she only has one left. And that's really, really heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because you're trying so hard to be something you're not, and you have these things inside of your body that says otherwise, that you are what you don't want to be, and now you're going through all of these horrible surgeries in order to achieve this goal. And it makes me really upset, and I want to honor Milo by calling her a she. So if you guys hear me switching genders sometimes and calling her a she, is because I know that that's what Milo wants to be referred as, but she knows that it's going to take a lot of work to look like a woman again. In the video, when you watch the whole video, she shows some of the things that has happened and has changed in her because of these hormones and these different type of shots she's been taking. And it's changed her so much that she doesn't really recognize herself, and she doesn't even view herself as attractive. She doesn't like how she looks, and that sucks. Again, you've worked so hard to be this person, and when you finally think that you've accomplished that, you're further from your goal. She also talked about how when changing, what her deep rooted feelings about women was that they were essentially the weaker gender, you know, like they were less than. And it's interesting because when I was younger and I was struggling with my identity and my gender, I was thinking very closely in that way, thinking to myself, well, men kind of get the upper hand of the stick. They are able to choose what they want. And I even made a video wearing the same top, saying that it seemed as though men just had all the benefits and rewards and women didn't. And I also was the weird kid in school, but it could have been because of the abuse I was going. Well, I know it was because of the abuse I was going through and the abuse I had went through and the unresolved trauma. And so I thought to myself, if I could be a guy, I wouldn't have to deal with this kind of pain, and I wouldn't have to be objectified. And the thing is, males and females do get objectified. They just get objectified differently, and women do get objectified whether you have a big chest or not, because that was her big hang up, was that she didn't like the fact that she had a huge chest, and so she got them removed. And then she had complications with that surgery as well. So watch the full video so you can get more of that information. But it really makes me question why some transgender men don't stand up for women. And I think some, and it's hard for them to admit, that they view women as the lesser gender and they feel so empowered as a man because the expectations for them to, whether it be emotional or be empathetic, isn't there, you know? And there's other things that I feel like they just don't want to deal with. They don't want to deal with the possibility of being a mother or having to deal with the brunt of social annihilism for being a woman. And I think that men have their own sets of challenges that, as a woman myself, I cannot really, put myself in their shoes to understand. In some ways, I do get it, like the things that men have to go through in order to prove their manhood. But it isn't the same as women, and women go through a lot. But I think that when you embrace womanhood, the good, the bad, the ugly, you really have compassion for those around you. And that's what's amazing about being a woman, because, and I'm not saying all women are compassionate and empathetic. I'm just saying the majority of women want to love, care, and nurture others. And it doesn't seem like that when you're in high school or in junior high, because everyone is trying to conform, or they're trying to figure out where they fit in the hierarchy. And so it's easy for girls to be really catty and mean and, sometimes unforgivable in how they act. And so I totally empathize and understand what Milo is going through. I've thought to myself, what would life look like had I fallen into the clause of, changing my gender? And I know it's crazy. People would think, why would you do that? You must be crazy. I had issues as a kid. I really felt like something was wrong with me and I wasn't worthy of being here. And I was just terrible as a girl. And looking at things now, I'm like, wow, I just really had some serious trauma that was unresolved. And I was pretty much harboring this anger and resentment towards women and men. But I thought that being a man would have been better. And it just wasn't, because when I really thought, because I'm a thinker, and I would observe what life was like for guys, especially guys that were shorter, that weren't really athletic, who didn't fit the social standard of gorgeousness. I saw how they were treated by girls and other guys, and their life was full of being teased and bullied and being knocked down constantly. And to me, it looked like, oh my gosh, I'm only 5'1", 5'2" at the time. I was 5 feet. I grew 2 inches. Woo. I was like, if I don't get any taller than this, how am I going to get a girl? And listen, I like short guys. So I know that there are short guys out there that gets girls and stuff like that. But I'm just like, if I were to live life as a man, how would I manage getting a girlfriend? On top of that, I would be a man of color, and there's just so many stereotypes, pressed upon us. So that's that. And I wasn't the most academic person, so I was just already thinking about what would my future look like as a man. It would totally suck. I would probably be a dishwasher at a restaurant, and I'd be like coming home to my like studio apartment, having ramen noodles every night, lonely as hell, probably watching, Cartoon Network's Adult Swim. I did not think life would be good at all. And when I see Milo, I see that she fell into the trap of, oh, life as a man is dope. I think life as a man has it's really good times, but it's still a lot of work. It still takes a lot of work and courage to be a man, especially if you don't fit in the hierarchy or you do not fit the social standard of perfect man in patriarchy. And it sucks now that she's looking at herself and she doesn't recognize who she is, and she's looking at now being a woman as this is a huge task and burden. And I feel like that was the same thing while trying to be a man. Trying to be a woman is going to be a hard job. Becoming a woman again and walking in that and embracing femininity will be very hard. But I commend Milo for coming out and saying what she said, because though there's a lot of trans people that are happy with their transformation and they could not be any more satisfied, there are people out there that are very unhappy and regret what they did to themselves. And my heart goes out to them, because that could have easily been me. And, you know, I know that there are going to be people that are going to come after her and calling her a traitor and all these things. And it's like, right now, what she needs is support and people that, you know, people that support her for doing the right thing. Because I know there was plenty of people that were supporting her while she was doing something that she did not understand at the time. She was only 15. She's been transitioning, I believe, like 7-8 years. And she just recently got off of testosterone. So she's going through all the ups and downs of that. And I just ask that you guys support her and give her kind words. Also watch the full video. And, you know, give her some encouragement, because this isn't easy. I know that there's people, like I said, that really looked at the surgeries that they did and these hormones that they took as life-changing. Good for them. I'm happy for you. If it's made you happy, then that's all that really matters. But I do think that when you're really young, like Milo's age at the time, and then being broadcasted on MTV, it is incredibly hard. It is so hard to live through that. And I don't think young kids should be transitioning because they're making permanent choices when their body's changing. And I remember as a teenager, I flipped a switch on what I wanted and what I didn't want all the time. I remember there was a time where I hated the color pink. You look at my closet now, covered in pink. Like every other outfit is pink, you know? I remember saying I hated video games. I play video games now. Like I remember not liking animals. Like I did not want a dog or any kind of pet whatsoever. Here I am with a whole chihuahua who is the stress in my life. So I know that we can change our minds. It's just like I feel like the quiver and shake in my soul when I watched this video and rewatching it now with you guys. So yeah, I want you guys to let me know how you feel about this and what's your opinion on transitioning young and broadcasting this on these kind of platforms like TLC or MTV, whatever. And do you feel like this is just a phase she's going through because she got off of testosterone? Do you feel like it's over for her? I don't feel like it's over for Milo, but if you feel like it's a wrap, drop it in the comments. Tell me what you think. But until next time, see ya.